All right, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I will begin. All right, so the topic that I'm bringing you today is using AI machine learning to predict stock market performance, and I have an app that I've created along with this topic. So the format of this presentation is going to be similar to the paper I've written. But I summarized the main idea and the big important points in this presentation. So I would like to start off with like an introduction. So the background or like what made me choose this topic that I chose was there's an increasing participation in investment in the world today that we live in as we kind of approach a digital world with everything becoming digital, even money. But the information and resources is only obtained by the small population. So the purpose of this app and this creation is to help those that are just normal average population to get more information about investment and then the stock information that they wish to invest in. So basically, this app collects information from social media and stores as data, and then it will compute the data to use to predict the performance of the stocks. The current and the only social media we were able to connect to is Twitter. We might have we will expand on that a little bit more in the future, but this is what we have. We have Twitter as we used an API to connect to Twitter to get data from there. And then after computing this data, the front end of the app informs the user with sort of like an instant quantitative result that gives it's quantitative because users will most likely want to see like how much percentage is going to go up or where the percentage it's going to drop. So that'll be the most useful and quick way. And here I'm going to talk about the front end of the app. So it's getting into the details a little bit more, and the sort of the programming part. We used Flutter to program this app, and it is done in the language of Dart. Flutter is basically like a Google created sort of like a platform for you to build any softwares that you want. And the language Dart is really similar to Java, so it's not too big of a difference. And yeah, as I said before, this is where the front end was drafted and created, and it also displays the compiled data for the users to refer to. And then we use Flutter because it almost responds instantly to any changes in the back end. I will get into that later. And there's some of the features that are included in the app's front end for the user is, well, first we got a flash screen with a logo. I'm going to do a demo later, but we got a flash screen with a logo when you first log into the app. And then there's a search bar for about more than 6,000 stocks that we have in our back end. They're not all displayed in the front end because it just causes the system to crash if we put all the 6,000 stocks in the front end. So we store them in the back end. And then the interface also includes a trending stock list that users can see what are the hot stocks for today. And then it also has a pretty basic feature, a watch list feature where user can simply add the stocks that they want to just be tracking of. Yeah. And here I'm going to get into talk a little bit about the APIs we've used. So we used two APIs in this app. The first one is a Twitter API, which scrapes tweets. We use tweets as our sort of like the evidence, our predicting factor for the performance, for the predictions we're going to be doing. So it scrapes all the tweets about a certain stock. For example, if I wanted to predict the performance of Tesla, then the Twitter API allows me to pull any sort of tweets or discussions from Twitter about Tesla into my back end, and then we'll compute that data to sort of output a prediction. And then tweet counts is basically what we use to justify our prediction. If there is a large amount of tweet counts, and then also referring from Monday through Friday, we kind of use that as to judge whether it's going to go up or go down. And this is very important because it formulates predictions. Without this, we're not going to be able to go forward with the predictions. And this sort of data this data we scraped will later connect to the machine learning algorithms that we'll cover later on in this presentation. The second API we've used is the Yahoo API, which is really simple, really basic, because we need sort of like the basic, the fast information about the stocks, like what is the minimum price of the stock, what is the maximum, like those ones that you can pretty much see if you search up the stock, which has its price, minimum, maximum, open, close, those prices. Those are what we're gonna those are what we accomplish with the Yahoo API, Yahoo Finance API to be more specific. Well, this is for users to examine past stock prices, just really basic stuff, and this will also be displayed in the app's front end. And here I'm going to get into this sort of like another resource we've used is Google Firebase. This is really important because it is a huge storage for all the data we've scraped without for all the tweets, the info, the price info. We're all going to be storing that in our Google database or Google Firebase. Sorry. This will be later. We'll use this Firebase to connect to the computing, the analysis part later on. Yeah, so this Firebase storage contains a full list of the 6,000 stocks that will be implemented to the app, and each stock contains its relevant information we scrape from Yahoo Finance, the price, and we also have lists in those Firebase storage, which for each stock that we have, which contains the close opening price that comes from the Yahoo API, the high and low price that also comes from the Yahoo API, and then most importantly, we have the tweet counts, which comes from our Twitter API. Those are all stored in Google Firebase. And here's another resource. This is probably also a really important step to our prediction and the app, which is Amazon AWS. This is just an efficient cloud computing and analysis platform that we use, which constantly updates predictions and information about the 6,000 stocks that we have. We didn't use all the functions, all the algorithms on in the AWS, but we use the simple ones that we need to use. And this contains all the stocks in the back end that were not displayed in the front end. It constantly computes and predicts, makes update the information on those 6,000 stocks. And when a user put that stock in their search bar, they're able to get an instant result of the quantitative data that will be outputted to them. And yeah, this is an analysis that could could fulfill the user's request, because the interface usually doesn't have a lot of the stocks that the user wants to get into. So they may request to for us to provide another sort of other information on another stock, and this does the job. So here is the most important part of the app, which is machine learning. We did this through the language Python, which pretty simple language, and this is essential for outputting the final prediction. One of the libraries we use is the sklearn library. We constructed sort of like the two machine learning models that will create like a graph and then make like a prediction based on the graph, the regression. The two models we got into was were the linear regression model and the polynomial regression model. Each has its benefits, advantages and disadvantages. The linear regression and polynomial regression are the two that we tested. We actually built like a testing code, like an algorithm that tests the accuracy of the model. And we had 5. But then we narrowed it down to 2 because those 2 are the ones that are the ones that perform the best. So yeah, we use linear regression and polynomial regression. So basically how these work is that it uses past data, and then it puts the data inside and generates a graph, and then the graph will extend to the points where the original data does not cover. So it kind of makes like a prediction, like a curve that predicts the ups and downs of the stock. Yeah, and then these regressions also construct the line of best fit, which based on the previous data, and then the data we've also manually inputted. Yeah, and then it also it makes a prediction like what I've just said. Yeah, so here I'm gonna do a quick demo of the app. I'm gonna put my phone screen onto my computer so you can see it. This is the actual app. This is what you will see when you first click on the app icon. It's an Apple Store and Android, so you can download it as well if you want. Here is the features that I've mentioned before. We got a trending now. We got a trending hot stocks that are just debated a lot today. And if you click into a stock, if I just wanted to click in Boeing, for example, you can see that those graphs are kind of irrelevant to the users. They probably don't care about these, but we use those data from like June and July, some of those data to output the prediction. And then, yeah, you can see if this is the most important part is the bottom, which has the prediction of the stock in the next 3 days. As you can see, Boeing is likely going to increase in the next 3 days. And then, yeah, this is just like what you will see if you click into a stock. And then we also have a search bar right here, which contains more stocks that are not displayed in our front end. I can search up something like Tesla. And then you can see the information about Tesla. And then another pretty cool feature about this is the watch list feature. As you can see, I only have one stock in my watch list. I can add, I don't know, I'm just going to click on a random one. I can add this to my watch list, and then you'll be able to see that here I've added this into my watch list, and then you can keep track of that. So yeah, this is pretty much what the user will be getting or will be seeing upon downloading the app. So yeah, that's all what I have for the demo part. Let's get back to the presentation. Yep. Okay, so here I'm going to talk about some of the challenges that I had while building this app. So the first challenge is the implementation of the large number of stocks. This is really huge because, as you probably all know, that there's like a lot and a ton of stocks, a ton of public stocks that you can invest in. And this lack of huge cloud storage that we had is really what made this hard, because we didn't have like those cloud storage where we can store these stocks. That's why we used Google Firebase. And then I actually wrote those stocks manually by hand, which is another challenge that I'm going to have to figure out a way that I don't have to do this, because there are also other new companies or new stocks that are joining the market, and then sometimes it would be better if I can have them automatically written inside of the list. Yeah, and then with those 6,000 stocks, if we all put them in the user's front end, we tried it out, we tested several times. It's really laggy. You pretty much won't be able to do much with 6,000 stocks in the front end. So we had them in the back end. The second challenge is creating a convenient front end. Make it as user-friendly as possible. This sounds kind of like not a big deal, but when it comes to building like an app, to us, it's really hard to do that, because sometimes when we created the front end in Flutter, maybe a button doesn't work, maybe the back button doesn't work, or maybe the watch list button doesn't do what it's supposed to do, or something like the search bar. Sometimes when you type in keywords, it doesn't pop out the stocks that you want. Those are all the things that we found while building this app, and we fixed most of them. But we're also having many software updates and checking glitches and bugs constantly to make sure that the app works perfectly. Yeah, and the third one, the third challenge we've had was this is probably an unavoidable challenge. It's basically the performance of the prediction, how accurate it actually is to predict a stock. So as I said before, we use those machine learning algorithms and machine learning graphs, and those are not perfect. Those are absolutely not perfect. So they're going to be inaccurate. And those are going to be things that we'll have to focus on in the future, is probably adapting to more machine learning algorithms, and probably thinking of combining them together to create this sort of a more accurate prediction. And also choosing the right model it was really hard for us to do, because there was like a ton of models in sklearn library, and we came up with linear regression and polynomial regression, which might seem to be like the two most simple ones. You know, people learn them in their math classes. Those are exactly what they are. But there are also other graphs that we didn't get into, which we will explore further in the future. Yeah, and yeah, I'll talk about some of the future developments we do, but I'll just generalize here a little bit more. So yeah, we're gonna keep improving the accuracy of the app, which is the most important part. I talked about that. And another really important thing is we're gonna connect to a more variety of social media. As I said in the beginning of this presentation, we only have Twitter connected as our social media that works as the evidence for the prediction. So in the future, we're looking to maybe connecting to social media like Reddit or some sort of like discussion, or Facebook, or all those social media, third party social media. And then the last one, the last thing is probably to partner up with some other groups or other companies to develop the app a little bit further. Because right now we only had 2 people working on this, and if we can find a bigger group, I think there's going to be more insight, which is going to help us to sort of advance this app even more. Yeah, and here is my contact information. If you have any questions, or if you're interested in learning more about it, you can send me a personal email. And then I also have my school email. I forgot to mention that I am a junior in high school. So here's my school email, and then here's also my phone number. So yeah, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. And I think that concludes my presentation.